Special bonus episode of Locked On Suns as we are a couple of days away from game one of the first round. Joined, as I promised you all, by Landry Shamet, Phoenix Suns guard. And today's show, guys, brought to you by Shady Rays, an independent sunglasses company giving you the features of $200 sunglasses for a fraction of the price. Use the code Locked On at checkout to get 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized glasses. All right, Landry. Thank you for joining us. I'm sure Suns fans are excited to hear from you. I want to start here. So, big NBA story this week. Minnesota winning at home means you won't play them. Mm-hmm. But you were teammates with Patrick Beverley.
Yeah.
He got some eyeballs on the way that he can impact the game a little bit in that one on national TV and all that. How, setting aside seedings and matchups and everything going on with you guys, how happy were you to see you don't have to play against him specifically when they win that game?
I don't know. I mean, I think he's a special player in the sense that, like, passion-wise, like, he's always going to be on 10, like, that, you understand that. I don't think I really view it in any way as like, oh, thank God we don't have to play the Timberwolves or have to play Pat in particular. I'm indifferent about it. I mean, I'm happy for him, I guess, as a past teammate to, go there and make the impact he has made. Like, you can't disregard that for sure. But I didn't really have a reaction where it was like, oh, thank God we're not playing them in the first round. Even though you still do want to give them, all the, the credit and respect they deserve for, what they've done in their turnaround this year. So, it was interesting to watch, though.
It was fun. I mean, 100% agree. I mean, I hear you. And you have a lot of teammates in the past, which I want to get to. So I'm sure there's a lot of guys you see that you feel one way or another about just because you've crossed paths with so many different guys already in the NBA. But before we get to all of that or any of that, I mean, look, like, the very fact that you're able to have this week to yourselves as a team is a statement to what you put together, and magical season, right? I mean, it's been special for Suns fans. 64 wins. It's been, one of the best ever. So how would you evaluate, though, coming into this group and going through the season now, your own personal comfort level and performance as you head into the playoffs? Where are you right now?
I mean, there's ups and downs, and with any season, and especially integrating yourself with a new team. I know, obviously, I've felt them. I'm human, and so truthfully though, like, very comfortable with the group of guys and the staff, and walking in the door on the first day. I mean, I'd played for Monty in Philly my rookie year. He was an assistant with Brett Brown and kind of took me under his wing, and him and I got really close at that point. KY, Kevin Young, on our staff, was with him in Philly as well. Same draft class as Mikal, DA, Aaron Holiday, who we just got, so a lot of guys who are very much, I mean, Ish is from Kansas City. So him and I have that in common. So him and I have really hit it off and grown in our relationship. So there's a number of things you can point to that kind of made it a very welcoming environment. Chris Paul is my favorite player growing up. And a lot of guys who are very close in age, really. I mean, a couple of the old guys who we mess with, Chris and Jay being the older of the group, I guess, JaVale. But a great mix of, veteran guys and young guys. And all in all made it very, it was a comfortable environment for me to be able to walk into and feel like I was accepted and one of them right away. And then from there, it's just a matter of, getting used to, your new team, style of play, just getting yourself settled. You just moved across the country, and, life changes, when you get traded, but you got to still come in and do your job. So, truthfully, though, I'm in a good spot. I'm in a good space. Feel really comfortable, and just excited to get into the playoffs and get this thing started.
One of the things that I think Suns fans chuckled about a little bit when you got here. I don't know if this got back to you, but Monty made a comment about he trusts you so much as a guy that he would be fine with you marrying a daughter of or a family member of his.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
I've never had somebody say that about me, so I just had just
Yeah. I mean, that's like high praise, but also a lot of pressure. I know I'm not perfect, but I'll take it. I love that Mont feels that way about me, and and I feel similar about him. He's one of the best people I've ever been around. I was lucky to be around him my rookie year, kind of show me the ropes, teach me about more than just basketball, what being a pro looks like, but life, and his impact goes far beyond basketball for all of us. So having him and I remember seeing that though and thinking, wow, that's high praise. I gotta tread carefully here, make sure I'm still doing all the right things. So
it's a lot to live up to.
Yeah, but it was cool though. It was funny.
Well, I mean, like you're talking about getting there and kind of integrating yourself and whatnot all the way back in the fall, but just thinking about that myself, I'm sure it was maybe in some ways overwhelming to then have to. I mean, first of all, you're coming into a team that's won at a high level right as you're getting there. That in and of itself, I'm sure was made you focus and kind of you knew what you were getting into, but also to jump right into contract talks with a new group of people. Yeah. What is it like, and what did it mean to you to have that commitment with a couple months under your belt here?
Yeah, and obviously that's my first time, being in a situation to negotiate a contract coming off my rookie deal. So, and being with a new group and wondering whether or not it's going to happen and all the different variables and whatnot. And then there was a period of time where it's like, we're feeling like a lot of people would think and assume that the contract itself would be validating, but then it's like, okay, this is a new group, and I tend to overthink and whatnot sometimes from time to time. It's been what's gotten me here, but has also at times been a challenge for me. So it was a period where it was almost like, like how to validate it. I need to validate this contract. I need to, I was putting a little more pressure on myself than maybe I had to. But more than anything, just going back to the fact of, like we got it done for a reason, and they know who I am and know what I'm capable of and what I can offer. And they saw that and appreciated it. And, I wanted to be here. I knew from, the first couple of weeks being around, walking in the facility, just the feel of the organization and how things are run and, everything. I mean, it's just somewhere where you want to be. Even living here in Scottsdale and all encompassing, very, very much something that I wanted to, be around for a while. So I'm super glad and grateful we got it done. I don't want it any different any other way. So all in all, yeah, it was a lot. It was a whirlwind moving from New York to here, and my girlfriend staying in New York, working. So us going from living together to now we got to, like all these things that a lot of people don't really think about. They see it as just the basketball, but you have a life that's got to find a way to come with you too. So, but yeah, overall it's been awesome. I'm grateful for the move here and all the challenges and the highs and lows of our season, our historic season that we've put together, and now just taking all of it and running into the playoffs. It's exciting.
Yeah, I do want to get to the movement you've experienced. It's unique. I do want to say though, I mean, coming from Kansas City, maybe it's different, but not a lot of guys in the NBA can say they played for as many teams as you already have, and they got to live in LA, Philly, Brooklyn, and Phoenix.
I know.
I mean,
I've been in some great. Yeah,
you are lucky.
Crazy.
It's
crazy.
What I wanted to say though, or ask you about, is the playoffs, because that's obviously when we're talking. But you've also not only moved, but you've been in the playoffs every year.
Mm-hmm.
What does that experience do for you as a young player? How's it made you better?
Yeah, I think you can get caught up in. Well, first off, I'm very grateful that I did, you know, get traded my rookie year as early as I did because it was like a kind of just a it lets you know about the business of what this truly is, how it operates, how it goes. Um, so I'm grateful for that. But there, it can be it can be a little bit like you can get stuck on maybe the thought of like, well, why doesn't this team want me? But then you go back and you look at it at like every year I've ended up on a team that's been, higher achieving or, had higher expectations or whatever the case may be. So like, like you said, it has been unique because it's not like I'm, like I've moved around and I've always been on really good winning teams who are trying to win a championship. Um, and that's like, I know that's not normal for your first 4 years in the league. So there's times where I have to remind myself how special this is. This is not normal. Don't take it for granted. Keep soaking things up. Winning is not. It doesn't always happen. Like this. So I've been very fortunate and have been in a lot of really good situations and just try to stay conscious of that, how unique it is. And try to soak up and learn as much as I can. I mean, especially being here with this group, it's one of the most like one of the smartest groups I've ever been around, from the coaches to the players, in terms of and then even how we communicate with one another and things somebody will pick up on and how it gets communicated to a coach or another player and how it just rolls and takes off from there. Like it's special to see, and I've got my eyes wide open and I'm trying to implement some of that stuff and have been able to. So it's been really cool.
You talked about thinking and just hearing you kind of talk about some of that stuff and just the way you're careful with your words and whatnot. I can relate to it because
Yeah.
I like it might sound this is going to sound ridiculous, but you guys being in the playoffs, I do this show every day. I don't
Right.
have a huge audience, but I have an audience. Like I'm even in my own head, like, damn, if this team's good, like
Hmm.
people are going to be listening. Like, so I can't even imagine
Yeah.
what it's like for you. But how does that show up? Because you're talking about feeling like you need to validate the contract or trying to be mindful of like, man, this is a really special team. I don't want to, let anybody down or anything like that. But like, what does that feel and look like in your kind of everyday routine as an NBA player when that stuff starts to just be like overwhelming or weird or
Yeah.
uncomfortable?
Well, if you allow it to kind of creep up and build, and you don't have proper outlets or things in your toolbox to be able to cope with it, because reality is like some people they live in their head. They're very deep critical thinkers, and I happen to be one of those people. Um, it's just who I am by nature. So finding ways to be able to manage it and acknowledge when, okay, this is run too far, or um, what you can kind of give your energy and thoughts to, kind of just learning yourself, figuring yourself out. Not a lot of people talk about this piece of it. They think that you have to be Iron Man on the outside and just like, take it and whatever, but like it's a real thing. So, you know, as opposed to like trying to act like it's not, like, why wouldn't I spend my time trying to, find ways to better, deal with it and utilize it as a resource, as opposed to potentially allowing it to just be who I am. And, it could be eventually detrimental, like, like things like that. I don't really resonate with that. I would rather, be open about it and honest and not act like it's not there, and just, you know, be real about it and learn how to find ways to navigate it all. And so that's kind of how I view it. But yeah, I mean, if you're not, like, especially in the NBA and how competitive it is and how good every player is and every night every team is, um, if you're not careful, you could, potentially get into some dark places. So it's just important to be able to learn how to navigate it and grow with it.
I mean, I think your performance on the court probably kind of speaks for itself in that capacity. Just what you're talking about, feeling good now, right? I mean, we don't have to go into the numbers, but like 39% since the All Star break from deep, up from pre All Star break, and consistent minutes and helping to fill in when Chris and Cam were gone and all that sort of stuff. I think it's been obvious. I mean, I think back to the Bucks game on the road. I think it was that midday game. Monty called the shot for you out of the timeout when the game was tight. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure that you got to feel a level of confidence right now. I wanted to ask though, on the note of the changing hands, we'll go rapid fire. I have a few last ones before we get out of here, so we can go a little bit quicker on these. But along the lines of the teams you played for, I mean, the people you've played with, the level of athletes you've gotten to kind of to see up close: Joel Embiid, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Kevin Durant. Um, is there one thing when I list off those guys, or you think back, that comes to mind that you've learned? Is there a nugget of wisdom that stuck with you from seeing how those guys work, or something they've said to you, anything like that?
Truthfully, the first thing that comes to mind is just how ridiculously talented all of them are, and also I will say being around Kawhi, seeing how he works like so methodically and for hours on hours, and just how he works out. That was one of the cooler things to be up close to. Like truly like robotic, and you know, just it's crazy. And how much time and thought he puts into every single thing he's doing in his workouts. So it's that was really cool to see up close. But truly, in terms of basketball, I think I've learned the most this year. I think last year I learned a lot in terms of like managing and how to handle like off court noise and things going on, and kind of inconsistency and just the ebbs and flows of like kind of that kind
That
of
was really diplomatic way to put all that.
yeah, how to handle things like that
Yeah,
you really control.
yeah.
But as opposed to like between the lines, basketball wise, like Chris is the smartest player I've ever played with, in terms of just he sees everything. Um, still at this point in his career, and he continues to go up. I mean, it's just him and Book. Book's right there with him too. I mean, just incredibly like cerebral guys who see and talk the game well. There's a lot of guys who see the game really well, I've noticed, and can go play, but don't always communicate it at that same high level. And that's kind of that goes across a lot of different realms of life, and
Mm-hmm.
experts in a lot of things kind of have that kind of dynamic. But it's really special when not only your ability is that elite level, but your ability to communicate it as well and talk and express a lot of these same things and teach other people is on that same level. So that's something that Chris and Book for sure have, and Chris especially, just because of his age and he's seen more than Book, and Book's right there. So this year, and even Monty, I mean, he's unbelievable. Our staff is unbelievable. Like we just have a very cerebral group from top to bottom, and I think with that, just being in that situation, you're just gonna take in more information, So I think that truthfully has been kind of some of the eye-opening things in terms of my last 4 years.
With this group, I mean, I don't think it's any secret the goal's a championship, right? But what has to happen? If I just ask you that point blank, like what has to happen for you guys to bring in a title, the first one in franchise history, get the job done that you want to get done?
Um, it's got to continue to be a collective. Um, Obviously in the playoffs, minutes change, and your first unit's going to play significantly more minutes, and us as bench guys, like me personally, going into this whole thing, like I've been talking to it with our second unit a lot, like we have to be the catalyst that pushes us over the edge, because you're going to get from that first group. And maybe there is a game where they're kind of dragging or get into foul trouble, whatever. Like we got to
Yeah.
come in and be able to no drop off, and if anything, go up. So finding ways to marginally win possessions, offensively, defensively, executing, knowing your game plan, like understanding personnel, all these things, like taking that into account and for me, and I think for everybody, taking a very like personal responsibility for that. You know, I think that's what ultimately pushes us to that, you know, the mountaintop. I that's how I view it. That's how I'm viewing it. That's my approach going into our first game on Sunday. So, you know, I think if we do that and take care of that, control what we can, then, you know, let the cards fall where they may. You know, that's how I view it.
For sure. All right, one more for you. Fun one here. So 4 games, cameras on you guys in the tunnel, dog pound, everybody's going crazy. You guys are getting hyped up, crowd's going crazy. If they decide to look up, we got to get the DJ guy to start playing the music to let everybody know to look sooner. That's just a pet peeve of mine. But what's your go-to move? Are you trying to avoid getting hurt? Are you trying to bump somebody specifically?
Nah,
What's your game plan when all that's going on?
There's no game plan. I think that's the thing that people need to know. It's chaos. It's fun. It's crazy for a couple minutes right before the game. Just kind of loosen you up. Be an idiot for, you know, a couple minutes in the tunnel. Get going a little bit. Get the juices flowing. Feel a little bit of energy, and whoever's closest to you is going to get, you know, bumped or grab their jersey, or, you know, it's just fun, man.
I get nervous when guys get on the ground. Once it takes to the ground and there's all fours going on, that's when I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm worried.
I understand that. I think the first couple times that DA started doing that was like, okay, like, whoa now. But now that we've seen it, we're comfortable. We know it's coming. It's
you
not
back
like,
up. You let him.
Not like he's gonna, you know, startle somebody and, you know, get his hand stepped on, or like, you know, whatever. Like we know what's going on, and it's fun, man. We got some like characters, some idiots in the tunnel. It's a lot of fun, man. It's hilarious. Probably one of the more like fun parts of the game. Surprisingly, like it's very funny.
I love it. Well, it'll be your first home playoff game on Sunday. I can tell you for a fact that this crowd is going to bring it as well. So we're all excited. I appreciate you joining me. I know it's a prep time, so I do appreciate you taking the time to talk through some things.
Absolutely.
All right. Good luck out there, and Suns fans, keep it right here. Hit subscribe. More interviews like this, more recap and news and everything going on as this run continues. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow.